Hey there, everyone. It's Kim Krompass, and it is Thursday, April 30th, the end of the month, the end of the week. And boy, am I glad that it is over. April has been fun at the beginning and kind of turned into very challenging trading, especially this past week. Today, I want to talk about a couple things, so let's go ahead and begin. And first, I want to just talk to you about catching a fish. I know you might be thinking, catching a fish? I thought we were talking about trading. Here's what I want to say. You can't catch a fish without a hook. Now, obviously, this is a metaphor for what I'm talking about with respect to Forex trading. And what I want to say is you can't catch a good trade without a plan. And we're going to talk a little bit about some of the context of this week, today, and how being prepared and having a plan and also having the courage to execute on your plan can make the difference between a trader that is a winning trader and a trader who struggles and maybe even is a losing trader. Let's go ahead and go to our next slide. Before I get into the actual charts, I just want to paint a little bit of the background, the context of what I was dealing with and what we have been dealing with at the Price Action Traders Institute. This morning, these are screenshots of my tweets that I made. I'm out on Twitter, as you'll see at the end screen. But here's what I was saying. On the first one, I say, I'm going into quiet consolidation now for the next little while to focus. I'm currently down 40 pips. And I was holding one trade and it was locked, the Australian dollar. And a few minutes after I put that tweet out, I had to tweet, Australian dollar protective stop has been hit for plus 15. All right, so I'm still down. I'm down about 25 pips. All right, so I'm sitting in a loss position. It's starting to get a little bit later in the session, and I'm wondering, do I just call it a day? Do I just call it a week? Do I just call it a month and close down and walk away? I start looking at some of the pairs, and they're beginning to move. And I put out this tweet, the pound is ramping up. And the reason I said is because I had taken a loss on both the pound and the pound yen earlier in the session, and I really wasn't interested in taking re-entry trades. But it was starting to make me wonder. And then the next thing I knew, I put out a tweet, Euro on the move, because I noticed the Euro was starting to really ramp up. And then followed that with, I took it. And we're going to go over this trade in particular. But I wanted to give you some of the context of, hey, I'm in a losing position. I've had several losing days, and I'm still in a loss in the New York session this morning. And then it all starts to move. And I put out this tweet, all in caps, here it goes. I want to talk about the euro dollar first. And the reason is because it was the first one to make its move. All right, so overnight, when we did our trade planning session, which was right on this dark candle right here, this pair was in a range, and this was the high of the range, and this was the low of the range. And during the planning session, actually, as I was coming back through and reviewing the pairs, the euro had broken and had made a nice push to the downside. It ended up dropping about 19 pips, but because of the rules when I got off, I wasn't able to get into this short because it hadn't created what we call a clear directional move, or CDM, right? And some people may have taken this trade and hopefully they got out with a protective stop and at least managed to book some pips on this 19 pip move. And then here was what I was tweeting about. Euro on the move, I took it. And this was the trade right here. This was the break to the upside. And it took a little bit. You can see a little stalling candle and then this explosive move up. And what I did was I had moved my protective stop. I was actually targeting way up here, and I moved a protective stop once price started to push and got within about 8 pips of that protective stop target up there. And so I moved this protective stop to lock in plus 59 pips. And that's what I ended up coming out with on this trade. And then you can see it just like plunged after that and went into quiet consolidation. So that was the first trade, 59 pips on the euro. Let's go ahead and take a look at the euro yen. All right, we're looking at the euro yen, a chart of this. And this morning, when we were doing our planning session, this is what we saw. We saw ranging price action. And this is right around the time of doing the planning session. So we had a range, and here was the low and here was the high of the range. Now, our trade plan called for us to buy or sell the break. And the first break I took, and I had to close the trade for a -1 due to my rules about closing back in a range, which it did. But it was great because of where the pricing was. I was able to get back in on a re-entry here and take it all the way up for 100 pips. And I actually had a target just below this point here, which was at 117.20. And I actually had it at 117, and I moved it because I saw this candle, which was just exploding. And this candle here is 120 pips, or 119 pips. Anyway, all that to say, the net of both of these trades here was plus 99. And like I said, I took a trade on the pound yen, which booked 30 pips, but these were the most important trades. The EJ, which was obviously the biggest trade of the day, and then the euro dollar. So let's go back to these tweets that I put out. And this is what happened after this tweet. Here it goes. And the prior one, which was, I have to go into quiet consolidation. I said, okay, now I can speak. That was madness. And we just went over this trade, -1. We just went over this one, 100 pips, and the euro dollar. All right. These were the biggest trades right here. Now let's go ahead and talk about what the week ended up like and what the day ended up like. So what you're looking at here on this first tweet on the left-hand side, it was, here it is. I was able to recover this week's losing streak. And today I netted plus 141. I took 11 trades. I had 7 losses and 4 wins. I had almost twice the number of losses as I did wins. And the reason this ended up so positive for me today was because of what? We use really tight stops. And it's okay to take losses. And we use low leverage. And the winning trades were big enough to absorb the losses I had coming into today's session and actually provide me with a win. Here on the right-hand side, you'll see just a summary. I wrote, yeah, this week's trading sucked until today. On Monday, I lost 34 pips. On Tuesday, I lost 74. And on Wednesday, I lost again 8 pips. And the total was a loss of 116 pips. So I was coming into this morning with this big loss from 3 days trading of 116 pips. And today, because of the opportunities in the market, I was able to come out with a very positive day, which ended up making my week just barely positive, but I'll take it. I ended the week positive. All right? And I just want to go back to this slide. You can't catch a fish without a hook. And you can't catch a big trade without a trade plan, without rules around how to get in and out of the market and how to get back in even after a loss. All right, so you have to have a plan. You have to have a way to get in trades. You have to have a way to manage those trades. And of course, obviously, you have to have good money management or risk management. And that's something that we teach every trader that comes through our doors, how to do all of those things. So let's go ahead and just talk about how you can contact me. I really want to thank you for listening. I know you have a lot of choices when it comes to Forex trading and Forex trainers. And I would encourage you to go to our website, check us out. We're real. We trade real money. And we not only give trade plans out in our trade planning sessions with our traders in both London and New York, but we trade what we talk about, all right? And you can visit our website at priceactiontradersinstitute.com. You can email me if you have any questions at info@priceactiontradersinstitute.com. There is also a contact us form on my website. Please feel free to fill that out if you forget info@priceactiontradersinstitute.com. And you can also follow us on Twitter. My handle is PriceActionKim. And I also, if you haven't subscribed to our channel, please subscribe to it. Would love to have you be one of our subscribers. We give you good information and we try to do it, 1 or 2 weeks at a time. We don't want to inundate people with a bunch of videos, but there's some important days that, like today, are worth talking about to help you along your trading journey. All right. Thanks again. I hope you have a great weekend, and I'll speak with you soon.